The Martian dust storms were particularly fierce that evening, painting the sky in shades of rusty orange and deep crimson. Evelyn Nash stood at the observation deck of her research station, recording station 217, watching the swirling patterns with practiced attention. She'd spent the last 3 years mapping stellar phenomena from this isolated outpost, but tonight something felt different in the cosmic dance above. Her instruments picked it up first, an anomalous energy signature cutting through Mars's upper atmosphere. It wasn't like anything she'd documented before, and as Earth's leading deep space cartographer, she'd seen plenty of unusual phenomena. The object moved erratically, leaving a trail of ethereal blue light in its wake. "Computer, track that signature," Evelyn commanded, her fingers flying across the holographic interface. The object was losing altitude rapidly, its trajectory suggesting an imminent crash roughly 20 kilometers from her station. Protocol dictated that she should report any unauthorized entries into Martian airspace immediately to Earth Command. Instead, she found herself reaching for her environmental suit. "This is probably the stupidest decision I've made since accepting this assignment," she muttered, securing the helmet seals. But something about that blue energy signature nagged at her scientific instincts. It wasn't natural, and it certainly wasn't human technology. The journey across the Martian surface in her rover was treacherous. The storm reduced visibility to mere meters, and the terrain was unforgiving. Her rover's navigation system guided her toward the crash coordinates, its wheels struggling against the accumulating dust. As she approached, the blue glow intensified, cutting through the orange haze like a beacon. What she found changed everything she thought she knew about the universe. The crashed vessel was roughly the size of a small shuttle, its hull composed of a material that seemed to pulse with internal light. It was completely unlike the utilitarian designs of Earth ships, with organic curves that reminded her of deep-sea creatures. But it was the vessel's occupants that took her breath away. Through a breach in the hull, she could see 2 figures. They were humanoid in basic form, but their skin emanated a soft, bioluminescent glow that shifted colors like the aurora borealis. The larger figure was clearly injured, curled protectively around a smaller one, a child, Evelyn realized with a start. Her suit sensors indicated the ship's hull had maintained a breathable atmosphere despite the damage. With trembling fingers, she activated her suit's universal translator, standard equipment for deep space researchers, though she'd never had cause to use it before. "I'm here to help," she broadcast, hoping they could understand. "Are you injured?" The adult figure's glow flickered weakly, but their head turned toward her. When they spoke, it was in a language like flowing water, which her translator processed with only minor delays. "Protect." Astra, the being managed, gesturing to the child. "The sanctuary must not find us." Evelyn's mind raced. Her training had covered first contact scenarios, but nothing prepared her for this reality. 2 alien refugees, one injured, crashed on her doorstep during the worst dust storm of the season. Earth Command would quarantine them, study them, probably never let them leave. And something in the adult's voice told her that whatever they were running from was worse than death. The child, Astra, looked up at her with eyes that swirled like nebulae, filled with equal parts fear and hope. In that moment, Evelyn made her decision. "I have a research station nearby," she said, already calculating how she could modify her rover's life support to accommodate them. "It's isolated, off most official charts. You'll be safe there while we treat your injuries." The adult's glow strengthened slightly. "I am Theron," they managed. "We are Luminari. What you offer is dangerous for you." "I'm Evelyn Nash," she replied, helping them carefully extract themselves from the wreckage. And sometimes the right choice isn't the safe one. As she helped the aliens into her rover, Evelyn knew she was violating at least 15 different Earth Command protocols. Her career would be over if anyone discovered what she was doing. But looking at Astra's tiny hand clutching her father's, Evelyn couldn't bring herself to care. Sometimes the universe handed you a moment or you had to choose between what was right and what was allowed. The storm raged around them as they made their slow journey back to the station, but Evelyn's mind was already racing ahead. She'd need to modify the station's atmospheric controls, find a way to mask their energy signatures from routine scans, and figure out how to explain her sudden increase in supply requisitions. But as Astra's glow shifted to a warm, trusting gold, Evelyn knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, she'd face them. She'd just become the unexpected guardian of two beings from across the stars, and somehow, that felt exactly right. The first few weeks of harboring interstellar refugees proved more challenging than Evelyn had imagined. Recording Station 217 wasn't designed for long-term habitation by beings who absorbed energy through their skin, nor was it equipped to handle the unique dietary needs of the Luminari. Yet somehow, they made it work. Theron's injuries healed slowly but steadily, his bioluminescent glow strengthening with each passing day. Evelyn learned that the Luminari possessed remarkable regenerative abilities, especially when exposed to certain wavelengths of light. She'd reconfigured her station's environmental systems to provide the specific spectrum they needed, explaining away the power surge to Earth Command as experimental deep space phenomena research. Astra proved to be an endless source of wonder and near disasters. The young Luminari possessed an insatiable curiosity about everything human, from the station's recycling systems to Evelyn's collection of old Earth books. Her natural glow would shift rapidly through colors as she experienced new things, azure for excitement, soft gold for contentment, and occasionally a dangerous red when she accidentally activated something she shouldn't have. "What is this?" Astra asked one evening, her glow pulsing with curiosity as she examined a holographic star chart. The universal translator had improved at interpreting Luminari speech patterns, though it still struggled with some of their more nuanced expressions. "That's my work," Evelyn explained, pulling up a wider view of the galaxy. "I map the stars and space phenomena, helping ships navigate safely through different sectors." She paused, noting how Astra's glow dimmed slightly at the mention of space travel. "Would you like to learn how?" The young Luminari's enthusiasm literally lit up the room, causing Theron to look up from the technical manual he'd been studying. His own glow shifted to a warm, approving amber. "The human's understanding of spatial mathematics is different from ours," Theron observed, joining them at the console. "But there is wisdom in their methods." As Evelyn taught Astra about celestial navigation, she couldn't help but notice how Theron watched them, his glow cycling through complex patterns she was just beginning to understand. The Luminari communicated as much through their light as through words, and she was slowly learning to read the subtle nuances. "You're worried," she said later, after Astra had fallen asleep in the modified quarters Evelyn had prepared for them. The young Luminari's glow had settled into the peaceful lavender of deep rest. Theron's own light rippled with surprise at her observation. "You're learning to read our patterns well," he acknowledged. "Yes, I am worried. The sanctuary's influence grows stronger in this sector. Our presence here puts you at risk." The sanctuary, the quasi-religious autocracy that controlled much of Luminari space, had come up in their conversations before, but Theron had always been hesitant to discuss details. Tonight, something was different. "They believe in genetic purity," Theron continued, his glow darkening to a troubled blue-gray. "Those of us who carry the mutation for enhanced light absorption are seen as aberrations. They would rather see us eliminated than risk contaminating their perfect society." His glow flickered with pain, not physical this time. "Astra's mother was a scientist who helped many of us escape. She didn't survive our last encounter with the sanctuary's forces." Evelyn felt her heart ache at the revelation. "That's why you were fleeing through this sector?" "We were trying to reach the resistance colonies in the outer rim. Our ship was damaged in an asteroid field, we had no choice but to attempt an emergency landing." His glow strengthened slightly. "We never expected to find an ally here." "Well, you've got one now," Evelyn assured him, though her mind was already racing through potential problems. Her monthly supply delivery was due in 3 days, and the regular inspector was notorious for being thorough. They'd need to be incredibly careful. A sudden alert from the station's perimeter sensors interrupted her thoughts. Someone was approaching, a small ship, definitely not the scheduled supply vessel. Theron's glow shifted to alarm. Sanctuary? No, Evelyn said, checking the readings. Worse. Earth Command Security. And they're not due for another 2 months. As they rushed to hide any evidence of the Luminari's presence, Evelyn couldn't shake the feeling that this wasn't a random inspection. Someone, somewhere, had noticed something off about her station's recent activity. And now everything she'd built, her career, her relationship with these remarkable beings, their safety, hung in the balance. The incoming ship's landing lights illuminated the Martian dust outside her window like distant lightning. They had minutes, at most, to prepare for whatever came next. Evelyn's hands flew across the control panel, activating the station's security protocols. Quick, get to the maintenance sublevel, she whispered urgently. The radiation shielding there should mask your energy signatures. Theron scooped up a still-sleeping Astra, his glow dimmed to almost nothing. He paused at the sublevel entrance. If they discover us. They won't, Evelyn cut him off, already deleting recent surveillance footage. Trust me. As the Luminari disappeared below, Evelyn took a deep breath and straightened her uniform. The station's external cameras showed 3 Earth Command security officers disembarking from their vessel, their black uniforms stark against the Martian landscape. Leading them was Commander Victor Russell, a man whose reputation for uncovering regulation violations was legendary throughout the solar system. The airlock cycled, and Evelyn forced herself to remain calm as the officers entered her station. Commander Russell removed his helmet, revealing sharp features and calculating eyes that seemed to catalog every detail of the room. Station Chief Nash, he said, his voice clipped and professional. Quite unusual to find you awake at this hour. Unusual times, Commander, she replied smoothly. The dust storms have been generating some fascinating gravitational anomalies. I was just documenting them. Russell nodded, though his expression suggested he wasn't entirely convinced. We received some interesting readings from this sector. Power fluctuations, unexplained energy signatures. He pulled out a handheld scanner. Mind if we have a look around? It wasn't really a question. For the next hour, Evelyn watched as the security team methodically searched her station. They checked every room, every storage compartment, even the waste recycling systems. Her heart nearly stopped when one officer approached the maintenance sublevel access, but Russell called him away at the last moment. Found something, the third officer announced, holding up a small device. Evelyn's blood ran cold. It was one of Astra's learning toys, a simple holographic puzzle that the young Luminari had been playing with earlier. Russell examined the device with growing interest. This isn't standard Earth Command technology. His eyes locked onto Evelyn. Care to explain? Evelyn's mind raced. She'd prepared for this possibility, had rehearsed her story, but facing Russell's penetrating stare made the carefully constructed lies feel paper-thin. It's a prototype, she said, forcing confidence into her voice. Part of my research into alternative navigation systems. I've been developing it based on some unusual stellar phenomena I've observed. Without proper authorization? Russell's tone was dangerous. The paperwork is still being processed, Evelyn countered. You know how slow the bureaucracy can be. I can show you my preliminary findings. A soft thud from below made everyone freeze. Russell's hand moved to his weapon. What was that? Old pipes, Evelyn said quickly. The temperature variations during dust storms play havoc with the station's infrastructure. I've filed multiple maintenance requests. Russell studied her for a long moment, then something unexpected happened. His stern expression softened slightly, and he glanced meaningfully at the security cameras before speaking. "You know, Chief Nash, I had a sister who used to work in the Europa colonies," he said quietly. "She disappeared during the unexplained light phenomena of 2184. The official report said it was a natural occurrence, but she sent me some interesting data before she vanished. Data about beings of light." Evelyn's heart skipped a beat. Was he saying what she thought he was saying? "I never believed the official story," Russell continued. "Just like I don't believe this station's power surge was caused by dust storms." He paused, then added in an even lower voice, "They're watching the standard channels. But not all of us agree with Earth Command's first contact protocols." A tense silence filled the room. Evelyn looked into Russell's eyes, searching for any sign of deception. She was about to risk everything on this moment of trust. "The sublevel radiation shielding interferes with most scanning equipment," she said carefully. "Makes it hard to get accurate readings down there." Russell nodded almost imperceptibly. "Probably why my team's scanners are showing such irregular results. Must be all that shielding." He raised his voice to its previous official tone. "Well, Chief Nash, it seems your unauthorized research projects deserve a more thorough investigation. Expect a formal inquiry within the month." As the security team prepared to leave, Russell lingered behind for a moment. "If you ever need to send any research data through unofficial channels, remember that old emergency channel 17 is no longer monitored." He handed her a small communication device. "For documenting your findings, of course." After their ship departed, Evelyn waited a full hour before retrieving Theron and Astra from the sublevel. As she explained what had happened, Theron's glow shifted through patterns of disbelief and cautious hope. "There are others who know of us?" he asked. "It seems we're not the only ones keeping secrets," Evelyn replied, examining Russell's communication device. "The question is, do we trust him?" Astra, now awake and processing everything with a child's remarkable adaptability, touched the device with a gentle tendril of light. Her glow shifted to a color Evelyn had never seen before, a complex swirl of hope, fear, and possibility. "Sometimes trust is all we have," Theron said softly, his own glow harmonizing with his daughter's. "And sometimes it's enough." As Evelyn began composing a message for Emergency Channel 17, she realized their small family of refugees had just become part of something much larger. The real question was, were they ready for what came next? Over the next few weeks, Recording Station 217 became a hub of clandestine communication. Using Commander Russell's device, Evelyn made contact with a scattered network of humans who had encountered the Luminari before. Each message revealed pieces of a larger puzzle: the sanctuary's growing influence, missing scientists, unexplained phenomena across the solar system. But it was Astra who made the breakthrough. The young Luminari had been studying Evelyn's star charts obsessively, her glow pulsing with intense concentration. One evening, as Evelyn was reviewing supply manifests, Astra's excitement lit up the entire room. "The paths," she exclaimed, her light shifting through rapid patterns of discovery. "They're not random." Theron moved to his daughter's side, his own glow brightening with sudden understanding as he examined the charts. "She's right. The sanctuary's fleet movements, they're following a specific pattern." Evelyn joined them at the console, watching as father and daughter worked in harmony, their light combining to highlight different sections of the map. Using their natural ability to perceive energy patterns, they began revealing what human instruments had missed: a complex network of gravitational corridors that the sanctuary used for rapid, covert movement. "They're preparing for something big," Theron said gravely, his glow dimming to a troubled indigo. "These deployment patterns, they're similar to what we saw before they invaded the Centauri colonies." Evelyn felt a chill run down her spine. "You think they're planning to invade Earth?" "Not just Earth," Theron replied. "Your entire solar system. It's perfectly positioned as a staging ground for their expansion into this sector of space." His glow flickered with pain and guilt. "We led them here." "No," Evelyn said firmly. "You were running for your lives. And now you're helping us prepare." Using Russell's secure channel, they began sharing their discoveries with the hidden network of human allies. But as they worked, Evelyn noticed something changing in her relationship with Theron. Their late-night strategy sessions often drifted into personal conversations. She found herself mesmerized by the subtle variations in his glow, the way his light seemed to reach for her when they worked closely together. One night, after Astra had fallen asleep, Theron approached Evelyn at the observation window. The Martian storms had cleared, revealing a sky full of stars that seemed to mirror his gentle luminescence. "Our people have a saying," he said softly, his glow shifting to a warm, intimate rose gold. "Light finds light across any distance." His illumination reached out, delicate tendrils of radiance dancing in the air between them. "I never expected to find such brightness so far from home." Evelyn's heart raced as she realized what he was saying. "Is this possible?" she asked, gesturing between them. "We're from different worlds, different species." "Perhaps that's exactly why it's possible," Theron replied, his glow intensifying. "Your world taught me that difference isn't something to fear, it's something to cherish." Before either of them could say more, the station's alert system blared to life. Multiple ships were entering Mars's orbit, ships with energy signatures matching the Sanctuary fleet. "They're here," Theron whispered, his glow shifting to alarm. "Sooner than we expected." Evelyn was already moving to the communications console, broadcasting an emergency signal on Channel 17. "This is Station Chief Nash. We have incoming Sanctuary vessels. I repeat, the Sanctuary fleet has arrived." Responses flooded in from across the solar system, other stations, ships, and outposts that had been quietly preparing for this moment. Commander Russell's voice cut through the chatter. "Initiate protocol starburst. All cells activate. This is not a drill." As Evelyn coordinated with the human resistance, she watched Theron prepare Astra for what was coming. The young luminary's glow was steady and determined, so different from the frightened child who had crashed into her life months ago. "What about the evacuation plan?" Theron asked, returning to Evelyn's side. They had prepared for this possibility, had a ship ready to take them to the resistance colonies in the Outer Rim. Evelyn looked at the tactical display, showing dozens of Sanctuary ships moving into position around Mars. Her station was about to become a critical coordination point for the defense of humanity. Then she looked at Theron and Astra, her family, against all odds and logic. "We're not running," she said firmly. "Not this time." She took Theron's hand, feeling the warm pulse of his light against her skin. "We stand together. All of us." Theron's glow merged with hers in silent agreement, while Astra moved to join them, her own light completing their circle. Outside, the first shots of the battle began to illuminate the Martian sky, but inside Station 217, a different kind of light burned bright, the light of family, of trust, and of hope. The war for Earth's future was about to begin, but they would face it as one. The battle for Mars unfolded like a deadly dance of light and shadow. The Sanctuary's ships filled the sky with their ominous red glow, while the hastily assembled Earth Luminary resistance forces mounted their defense. Station 217 had become a beacon of hope, coordinating attacks and providing refuge for other Luminary defectors who emerged from hiding across the solar system. Evelyn worked tirelessly at the command console, directing refugee ships to safe corridors while Theron used his knowledge of Sanctuary tactics to predict their movements. Astra, refusing to be sent to safety, had become their secret weapon. Her unique ability to perceive and interpret energy patterns helped them detect incoming attacks before they happened. Another wave approaching from the polar orbit, Astra called out, her glow pulsing with urgent patterns. Their signatures suggest heavy weaponry. Channel 17 to all units, Evelyn broadcast. Fall back to defensive position Delta. Prepare for heavy assault. Through the observation window, they watched as Earth ships executed a perfect retreat, drawing the sanctuary vessels into a trap. Commander Russell's voice crackled over the comm, "Now." Hidden resistance ships emerged from Mars's magnetic interference zones, catching the sanctuary fleet in a crossfire. The space around the red planet erupted in a spectacular display of explosions and energy discharges. But the sanctuary had one more card to play. "Something's wrong," Astra suddenly said, her glow flickering with fear. "The energy patterns, they're building to impossible levels." Theron's own glow paled as he analyzed the readings. "They're preparing to activate the Luminaris device. It will destroy everything with photonic resonance within the solar system, including Earth's sun." "Can we stop it?" Evelyn asked, already knowing they had minutes at most. "Not from here," Theron replied. "The device must be deactivated from within their command ship." His glow shifted to a pattern of deep resolve. "I have to go." "We have to go," Evelyn corrected him, emphasis on the "we." "I've learned enough about Luminari technology to help, and you'll need someone to get you past their human-based security systems." They turned to Astra, who stood tall despite her fear, her glow steady and bright. "I'm coming too," she said firmly. "You need my pattern recognition abilities." There was no time to argue. Using the chaos of battle as cover, they boarded a modified shuttle. Theron's knowledge of sanctuary protocols got them through the initial defense screen, while Evelyn's Earth command codes prevented their own forces from firing on them. Astra guided them through the complex energy fields, finding gaps in the sanctuary's defenses. They reached the command ship's docking bay just as the Luminaris device began its warm-up sequence. The entire solar system seemed to hold its breath as the device's ominous hum built to a crescendo. "Security protocols are adapting," Evelyn warned as they raced through the corridors. "We've got maybe 5 minutes before they lock us out completely." They fought their way to the device's control room, their unlikely family working in perfect synchronization. Evelyn handled the technical systems, Theron dealt with any sanctuary forces they encountered, and Astra guided them through the ship's Byzantine energy maze. The Luminaris device filled the central chamber, a massive crystalline structure pulsing with deadly purpose. As they worked to disable it, a familiar voice echoed through the chamber. "The Great Traitor returns," a sanctuary elder emerged from the shadows, his red glow harsh and unnatural. "And you've brought your human pet and your abomination of a daughter." Theron's glow flared protectively. "You're the only abomination here, Elder. You've twisted our gift of light into a weapon of destruction." "Purity must be maintained," the Elder snarled, activating a personal shield. "Even if we must burn away the impurities with solar fire." What followed was a battle unlike anything in human or Luminari history. The Elder's corrupted light clashed with Theron's pure illumination, while Evelyn worked desperately to override the device's controls. Astra, proving herself truly extraordinary, used her unique perception to find weaknesses in the Elder's defenses. With seconds to spare, their combined efforts succeeded. Evelyn's technical skills, Theron's power, and Astra's insight came together in a perfect moment of harmony. The Luminaris device overloaded, but instead of destroying the solar system, it released a wave of pure, cleansing light that washed away the sanctuary's corrupted energy. In the aftermath, as Earth and Luminari ships worked together to round up the remaining sanctuary forces, Evelyn stood with her family on Station 217's observation deck. The Martian sky had never looked more beautiful. "What happens now?" Astra asked, her glow shifting through curious patterns. "Now," Evelyn said, taking Theron's hand and feeling his light pulse in tune with her heartbeat, "we build something new. Together." And so it was that a single human's choice to help two refugees sparked a revolution that changed two civilizations forever. Earth officially welcomed its first Luminari citizens, while the reformed Luminari society embraced diversity as strength. Station 217 became the first of many joint human Luminari outposts, a symbol of unity between the stars. As for Evelyn, Theron, and Astra, they remained at the heart of this new era, their unique family proving that love truly is the greatest light of all, powerful enough to bridge the vast distances between stars and souls alike.